See, me, I'm just a firm believer in divine timing, and I affirm that every day. So what's for me is already working for me. I ain't gotta chase that, I ain't gotta rush that, it's already mine. I'm on my own time now.
You can't rush my greatness, I've been elevating daily on a mission for my people. All the love I've been receiving, oh, got me oh so dedicated to uplift the world's vibration. This is affirmation of alignment with the highest. This the road less traveled. You don't have a say-so in how I move. You don't know my battles. Can't be on my boat with no paddle. How you talking down on the captain, but moving like cattle? Niggas try to play me, but that shit is funny. Get to know the new me. I've been getting money. I've been changing lives now. Conquer my depression, leveled up, and I'm alright now. Yeah.
Peace to the family. Peace to the family. What's going on? We sorry for the delay, but we thank everybody for tapping into another Kozmic Connection. You know, where we vibing high tonight. I know the fight going on. I know some of y'all was trying to see the fight or whatever, but we thank y'all for staying tuned into, you know, some higher frequencies, you know what I mean, and not blending in, you know what I mean, with the crowd. We've been MIA for a minute, but we got an amazing guest tonight. Man, we got an 8-time published author, a musician. I mean, some of his music like really touched my spirit. You know what I mean? He's a spiritual and mental coach or mentor. You know what I mean? And an amazing girl dad. You feel me? So I know you probably seen him on Instagram. You know what I mean? Doing his thing with the mentorships. He traveling Morocco, Mexico. We gonna get into all of that tonight. You know what I mean? But man, y'all give it up for our guest, Brian Hyppolite.
Peace to you, brother.
Thank you, brother. Thank you for that. Thank you for that intro, man. I'm blessed. I'm feeling great, bro. I'm energized. I'm excited. Overjoyed, man.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And I could tell, you know what I mean, when another God is in the room, you know what I mean? Because I always get those jitters a little bit. Like, you know what I mean? It's a good thing, though. It's a positive thing. You feel me? Like, you know, so I want to tap into some stuff tonight. You know what I mean? But before we get into it, I just want you to give our viewers or anybody that's watching, you know, some of your backstory.
Okay. Let's see. I'm 39 years old, from Tampa, Florida, originally from New Jersey. I've been a published author most of my life. I've been an award-winning author most of my life. But it wasn't until 2020, January 2020, January 11th to be exact, of 2020, that I released my first book as an adult, which is called Manifesting You, 111 Keys to Unlocking Your Divinity. And from that book came a online community, mentorship program, speaking opportunities. And since then, I've just been traveling around the world, showing people how to get out of their mind and connect with their soul, how to speak to hear from the God within them and start living lives that reflects them, healing, being healed and happy and whole. You know, I'm one of these energies that go around and show you how to break generational curses and create generational wealth. And quite frankly, I don't think you ever seen nothing like this before. And
facts.
And I'm here to just,
you know, that ain't no bravado right there. That's real energy. That's high frequency right there. You know, yes. And I also want to dive into, right? We all kind of like have that thing that like switches on our consciousness, right? And creates that new timeline, right? Whether it's like an experience or you change your hometown or something traumatic happened or something very positive happened, right? But what was your experience into coming into your consciousness before, you know, even getting to this point where you're at now?
Man, it was trauma. It was a very traumatic experience that made me come into awareness of my influence and how it was going to be used in this dimension in a powerful way, whether I was doing it in a positive manner or not. And unfortunately, some horrible things had to happen to some people before I sat back and realized, oh, you really kind of behind. Like, you ain't do that, but your energy created this situation. And it was just a real thing, man. I grew up without a father, and my energy created a situation that now has somebody else growing up without a father. And I was like, man, we got to do something different. We got to do something different. And, you know, so I think that was a big catalyst. And then in going through this transition, I became a father.
Right.
And then a shift took place.
Absolutely.
You know?
So along your journey, like, what exactly, I mean, were you always a conscious artist, or was there, you know, you kind of had moved into that?
I can't say always, but definitely within the last maybe 10 years, I've gone from doing positive music. I was making maybe 10 years ago, I was making Christian music.
Okay, got it.
You know, and so we've moved from that into a conscious music to where what I'm doing now, we don't even have a proper genre for. It's more than conscious music. It's soul music. It's high vibration music.
Right,
so,
right, exactly.
You know, I feel like I'm the spearhead, the tip of the spear, you know, right now to make a way, because there's a lot more artists and authors, you know, like me, and that's on this vibration, but we don't have a platform. The listeners and the readers don't know where to find us, and it's just all divine alignment. But we need our own platform, and we need our own genre. So that's something that I'm, you know, working to create for us.
Absolutely. That's that too. Just to, you know, differentiate between conscious and like soulful music, so that's like soul changing music, because a lot of times we're just dealing with facts and knowledge when it's so much deeper than that. And the experience of coming into your awakening or your most authentic version of self is much more than just the facts that you have. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes it's an energy that you feel and that you come into an embodiment of, kind of thing.
Right.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And I love the conscious rappers. You know, a few months ago, I was in New York, and it was the first time that I'm 39 years old. It was the first time that my father seen me on stage. And prior to the show, like, I was trying to explain, you know, just where I'm at in my consciousness and with my music. And so the conscious rappers that we could think of, that we would name, I love them all and I respect them all. But after the end of that show and everyone's leaving with goosebumps and feeling like they was in church and their soul was fed, I looked at my father and said, see, this is why I said we can't call this conscious rap, like, because this isn't it's much more than that. We all love and respect to, you know, to those conscious, you know, rappers, but you know, they came to speak to the minds of men, and myself and those who are on this path like me have come to awaken the souls of men. So it's just something different.
Trailblazing, you know what I mean? Trailblazing.
Yeah, breaking generational curses and creating generational wealth. That's what it's about.
That's a fact.
What was your experience?
On that topic, you know what I mean? I wanted to ask you about greater existence, right? Because when I'm on Instagram or Facebook or TikTok, I hear, you know, that song being used on a lot of reels. You know what I mean? And things of that nature. So how did that song come about, one? And two, how did you get it to go up like that, right? Because you only see a few, you know, I'm going to say high frequency artists, right? That can actually get to a space where, you know, their music is generating profit, you know, through those social media platforms.
Yeah. Well, it started, the greater existence was the follow-up behind the Mirror song. And Mirror was the first one that started getting the traction.
I actually sent that song to you, Kai. I have it
on my phone. I downloaded it.
I gotta say thank you to everyone has been streaming it over the past 2 years and sharing it. I wake up every day to an email or a message or a comment from someone saying, I don't know how I found this song, but I needed it today. And it got me through my day, or it's helping me get through a dark time. And it's, you know, so I love all that. And that inspired me to sit back and say, all right, so it was the first song that got 1 million streams, first thing that started making people in other countries turn around and say, who's Brian Hyppolite? Right. And so now with millions of people, you know, listening, I say, all right, so if this was our initial conversation, I want to have another conversation. I want to extend that conversation. I want to take it to the next level with you. And the conversation that we were having in the Mirror song come from my first book, Manifesting You, 111 Keys to Unlocking Your Divinity. And the follow-up to that book is my 5th book, The Greater Existence. And this is 111 Keys to Walking in Your Infinity.
Okay.
So I was in New York and I did a show, and it was the first time that I seen people knowing the words to my song. And I almost forgot the words to my song. and at an event when I was speaking to him, the words came out of my mouth that just said, your purpose and your power are much greater than your problems. And that just what came out of my heart to those people. And by the end of the night, a woman walked up to me and was like, I needed to hear that. And it was like a great grandmother, like an elderly woman walked up to me and said, you know, I needed to hear that. And I left at that moment. It's like, I'm going to write a song around that. And that's going where we're going to take the conversation from mirror to your greater existence. And, you know, and I really just it all comes from this book, like just keys that's in the book, and wisdom, knowledge that's in the book.
We'll link that at the end of the live for those who are interested.
Absolutely.
That's a fact. That's a fact. You know, and
sorry. What was your experience?
You go ahead, Kai.
What was your experience like moving from Christian music or just Christianity in general over to, you know, more of a conscious space and, you know, tapping into who you are and learning things outside of religion? What was that transition like, and what were your experiences?
Yeah, musically it was easy. Personally,
right, that's what I was about to say. You might have people looking at you crazy.
Yeah, as a creator, it's a beautiful thing. But as an individual, it was soul shaking. But it was also exciting. Like there's always been this thing within me that knew that there was something greater than what I was brought up in. You know, my mother's side of the family is African American. My father's side is Haitian, and I grew up around the African Americans. But every once in a while, I would go and visit my Haitian family, and I would notice that when my aunt would go in her closet and pray to whoever she was praying to and whatever offering she was giving over there, something would happen in the physical realm because of whatever that woman was doing in her closet. And I knew that I ain't seen no Christians doing that. Right. So like I always knew in the back of my mind, like there's something else out there. I don't know what it is, but this is what I know. So I'm going with it. But I went to Bible college. Let me get to the answer on your question. I went to Bible college and I graduated with a degree in biblical studies. And I got to the end of that. I've always been a spiritual person. I've always been a spiritual being. I really was inquisitive. I wanted to know more. And we got to the end of that. And I was like, so we've only looked at like 600 years of information. You're not going to tell me this is where I'm supposed to begin my thoughts of a connection with a divine source. And so that just sent me studying world religions and other cultures. And then I found the solar messiahs, which made me understand what I was seeing in Christianity. And it's like the divine just gave me just a trap door to go ahead and walk out of this. Like where I was just stuck in something and didn't know how to get out. It was like all this just information and understanding just came to me and just allowed me to say, okay, I can walk away from that. But don't have to walk away from these people. Don't have to, detach myself from these people. But I still had to stay quiet for a little bit and learn, like, because to be able to say, I don't believe in what we've always believed in. And they said, well, what do you believe in? And I'm still figuring that out. But I know it got something to do with the moon and these stars, and they're gonna be like, oh, that's what you want,
Yeah.
So it was really realizing that I just had to get close with the God within me, and that was the same energy that I've been encountering all this time. And it's just been it was tragic going through it. You know what I mean? Like shedding the identity and then not knowing what we're stepping into. But it's the most beautiful thing for us to do, to walk away from what we've been indoctrinated into. Anything. Like if you were given to it, if these are someone else's thoughts that have been given to you, owe it to yourself to step away from it, at least examine it. from the outside looking in, and then see if how you want to participate in it. But I always knew there was greater, and the Divine's always given me a backstage pass and a front row seat backstage to whatever was going on. So it put me in different situations where I was exposed to different things or got awareness. I've always had divine favor and been around movers and shakers and leaders and people of influence. And I've just been sitting here like taking notes and been in other people's castles, watching how they run in their kingdom, just taking notes.
Facts. And you know, it was powerful what you just said, because coming into, you know, your spirituality and your consciousness, you're gonna go through every emotion. You're gonna go through judgment, embarrassment. You know, you're gonna feel like nothing is the same anymore, right?
Yeah.
And like you said, stepping into the unknown of, like, you know, this journey I'm about to walk down, nobody may not be coming with me on it right now. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, you know, big respect to you for actually moving forward in your journey. You know what I mean? And actually showing that, you know, you're gonna have to go through the fire. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
To prove yourself, not only to, you know, yourself, but the universe as well. And I wanted to ask this question because you spoke on, you know, being conscious now. How do you navigate the conscious community, right? And those same leaders, right? Because you see so much going on in the conscious community with, you know, certain names and things they attach to, right? How do you keep yourself like out of those spaces, right? Where it's a lot of finger pointing, it's a lot of underhand shit going on, right?
Yeah.
With conscious community leaders, like, how do you navigate this now that you actually have a platform?
It's my platform, and I'm not trying to be in other spaces. You know, I think a lot of the conscious community, like any other community, like people came from the entertainment industries that operate different, you know, on different frequencies, and they've really brought mentalities of a different frequency, you know, to the space. So it's easy to see, man. I'm divinely guided everywhere I go, everything I do. In the moment that the vibration is not what I want, I'm either going to change it or I'm going to leave. So
that's powerful, because I think that's really how you stay in alignment. You know, we kind of get to like, we all have that inner knowing, like if something's off, it don't feel good or whatever, you know, and you're kind of really, you've done the work, you've been through the journey, you had your time of solitude, because we're all going to go through that part. Like you were talking about earlier, everyone's going to go through that space to where you're stripped of everything that you knew, your friends, your family, and you're kind of forced to go within. And everyone has to go through that. That's like an initiation process. So once you've gone through that space and you're in environments that you know, like, you know your energy so well, you know when other energies are off or out of alignment, because you've already tapped in with your with source on your own, you have your own relationship with it, and you understand it within self. So if we understood that it's really that simple, you know, we save ourselves a lot of time and a lot of heartache, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. We aren't given that knowledge. We're actually separated from it and put into a condition where we would doubt it. So that's why we refer to it even as a journey, because it's some steps you're gonna have to take. You know, I look at it now as more as a safari. Right. A safari is more of a wide open landscape with plenty of possibilities. A journey could be strenuous. Like it don't even feel the same when you say safari versus a journey. Like I don't even say that I'm on my spiritual journey. I say I'm on my safari. I'm on the safari of life, and I'm open to all the possibilities, all the divine possibilities for me to be greater than I've ever been and do greater than I've ever done. And I'm enjoying it. I'm really having my way with life. Right.
Yes. So what was that point in your journey that, like, especially coming out of like Christianity, going through that space where you're like really discovering who you are? Like, what was that? If you can remember, like, what was that one moment that you remember? Because you know that the light bulb just went on, and you're like, oh, like this is confirmation for me that I'm on the right path, that I'm doing the right thing, that I'm like removing myself from this, you know, old way.
I think it was an inner knowing. It was an undeniable peace. Like, you know, there was many things that Christianity taught me that stands true. And one thing is that you follow your peace, and you allow your peace to guide you. And there was what the Bible calls a peace that surpasses all understanding. And so I didn't have to understand at that point. And once I started realizing that I'm feeling and experiencing things that I have heard about before, but I'm experiencing it outside of the confines of how I was told that I had to get it. I'm like, oh, I get it. I see what's going on now. I thought I had to go this way, but no, I'm doing it within me. Like, it was greater is he that's in me than he who's in the world. One day I woke up and I said, that's referring to the God in me versus the man in me.
Absolutely.
And I started realizing that, I don't need to start a third party to connect with, with the creator. And it just started empowering my life in an amazing way that I couldn't deny. Like, you couldn't talk me out of it. You couldn't tell me that what I was experiencing wasn't real. Because not only did I have the chills that I would feel the way that they be feeling in the church, but I have a power that you don't have. I'm shifting and shaking things. My vibration is moving things around, and things are happening. And I don't care whose name you call on, they favor me.
Yes.
And
I know that's right.
So that's powerful. And I love that verse too. And I actually used it the other day with a client because, it's like, once you fully step into who you are and you understand your connection with source, that verse speaks volumes. Like, greater is he that is in me than he that's in the world. And when you align with that, then it goes in connection with the verse that's what does it talk about? It's like all like was it low? They'll say, look here or look there, for the kingdom of God is within you.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? You don't have to go. You never had to go anywhere outside of yourself to connect yourself with the Most High or with Source in any way. And once you align with that, everything else just naturally flows to you. That's supposed to be yours.
That's a fact. That's a fact. And seeing the energy that you have right now already lets me know that you are already in that space, right? But I want to get to a space where you might have felt vulnerable, right? And that's just to speak on Tropical Depression album, right? Where you exhibited so many displays of your vulnerability, you know what I mean? And the things that you went through, right? And even by having your girls on there, that album about, and I want to get into some of the things that help you overcome, you know what I mean, the trauma that you was going through, you know what I mean, especially with some of the songs like Hold Space, if anybody hasn't listened to that one, you should definitely go get it. We're gonna drop the link for your website too, bro. You know what I mean? Name Your Price album. You feel me? I was like, damn, that's some Nipsey shit right there. You feel me?
It's worth it, man. So if you giving the people anything of value, you should allow the people to pick that value and not allow somebody's corporate structure tell you how you're supposed to be compensated. For your art, for your work, or for just for your value. Right. So I much rather tell them, like, I just wanted you to have the song. Like, that's what I cared about. I don't care. I don't care about the other part. But the universe does have its laws of energy exchange.
Yes.
So, hey, however much energy you want to exchange for it, I'm cool with it. I really wanted you to I just want you to have it. So but I know it's gonna empower, and it's gonna help, and it's gonna change, and it's medicine, and it's soul food. So
even just listening to a clip, it's like you can absolutely tell the energy that you put into your music. It's not necessarily just regarding the words, but you can feel the authenticity behind what you're saying. It definitely shifts.
Yeah. Right. You mentioned you started the album off with my daughters.
That's what I was about to ask you about. Yeah.
Okay, go ahead. What's your question?
Well, I was just gonna ask you, you know what I mean? What made you want to start the album off, you know, with your daughters, and how powerful was it, you know what I mean, to see them in that space?
Man, it's every day. It's a powerful thing to see my daughters and see what they know, what they understand, and what they're thinking. Um, I've seen all these years of hip hop artists start their albums with whatever was their biggest flex. You
Exactly.
know, I remember what came to mind when I was thinking of an intro was this intro on a Rick Ross song where it's just like he's holding his bank account, or he's calling the bank, and the automated system tells you his bank account.
Right.
And that's the intro of the song. You know, it's like, oh, that was such a hard flex. It's like
Right,
360
exactly.
million. Like it's such a hard flex. And I was like, I got one harder than that though. Let me let these girls talk. And they are definitely my biggest flex. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
that same night in New York, when my father seen me perform, at the end of the night, I'm showing him videos of my daughter, and I showed him that video
Right.
of where that audio came from, of them talking, them on stage with me, and this man looks at me and was like, man, you are the exact opposite of the man and the father that I was. And I looked at him, I was like, and that was my plan since I was 8. Like, I knew I was going to be nothing like you. I made sure, like, that was my motivation to be nothing like you. And it's cool now, because look what happened. Like, this is, you know, being able to be the type of father that I am. You know, I really lean into developing phenomenal beings that have a divine purpose and that are not going to go through a life using their body as their buying power. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like, we got a different breed of just world changes that I'm bringing up over here. And so, like, the clip that's at the beginning of the album, that's like a 2-minute clip of a 16-minute conversation where we're just talking about life and death and your people and what our family purpose is. You know, like, whatever your mission is, you need to be teaching your children. You gotta know your mission. You gotta teach your children, and so I know my mission. I teach my children, and I've always had the mindset that I wasn't gonna live long. Like, I look in the mirror every day, bro, and I see these grays. I see all this stuff, and I'd be like, look at you, like, here, alive. Like, I swore I wouldn't even be 30, let alone I'm turning 40, like, in 2 months. Like, we're here with a divine purpose, and so to be able to pour into these girls that's my biggest flex, to see who they are right now. So that's why they're at the beginning of the album, but it also sets the tone for this breaking generational curses and what that looks like.
Right, exactly.
Like, cause that's what that Tropical Depression album represents. It is definitely a lot of healing, and healing involves breaking generational curses. I named it Tropical Depression because it came from, over the last 3 years, a lot of the worst moments I've ever experienced in my life, and the biggest storms I've ever been in my life, happening at the same time as moments that I've dreamt of happening my whole life. And so it's just been these beautiful days with the most horrible things happening. And so that's, you know, that's what it was, you know, learning how to, I lost my mother 3 years ago, and 6 weeks after that, lost an unborn child. And I think ever since then, I've just been learning how to be me again. Learning what life looks like for me again. And so that journey has been writing some beautiful songs. And that healing has been, I think every time I get to a mountaintop of healing, I always look back to the people that's in the valleys that I walked away from, and told them, hey, this is how I got up here.
Right.
This is how I got to the mountain. This is how I got to this mountaintop, because I was just down there with you. So this is how you get up here. And so it's really, it's the journey, it's the celebration of getting to the mountaintops, but it's also the valleys. It's definitely also the valleys. And the album changed because I wasn't going to be so personal, so vulnerable. But I didn't want to trauma bond. That's what, and that's why I didn't want to trauma bond. I've always been, I've been great for writing songs, writing stories, writing poems. I went to a performing arts high school, shout out to Blake High School in Tampa, Florida. I've been able to get on stage and say stuff and make and play with people's emotions.
Yeah.
With my artistry. And so that's the last thing I wanted to do in this space. And and it really took the divine showing me how, no, you're gonna help some people that's going through it. I have some friends that are now going through what I was going through 3 years ago. So it's like, man, the people need this. I
definitely needed it, and I can relate to it, right? And when you said you didn't want people to trauma bond, right? Me personally, I look at it from a different aspect. I only want to trauma bond with you so I can help transmute that. You know what I mean? And you can help me transmute that. And that's what the energy and the frequency of your music did for me, right? Because losing my mother at the age of 4, right? That was just hills and valleys. You know what I mean? Going through life with relationships, with not being so hard up or beating myself down by learning how to care for self and nurture self. You know what I mean? Because you need that feminine energy and aspect around you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that album definitely touched me to that degree, and even some of the things that you were saying, about Pops as well. You know what I mean? It was definitely an eye opener for me, because you helped me see that, like, I still got some work to do. You know what I mean? Not only do I heard the God in you, but now I see the God face to face. It's like, I still, like, you still got some work to do, because I still don't get that vulnerable. Not yet. You know what I mean?
It was a stretch, bro. That was definitely, I've never in any of the music or anything that I've created, I think in my adult life, ever even spoke of my relationship with my father. And I think if I've ever mentioned them, it was in a derogatory manner, or it's in a comparison of what I wasn't, or something like that. But to actually speak from where these seeds of pain, started from, and how it got to, what it got to, and to recall, there was points in my life where he didn't even know where we were, right? Where, like, this man didn't know my address. But even though he couldn't find me, his demons knew how to find me. Like, they knew how to, they could get in contact with me, and I still had to battle with all the things that he never fought for. So it's like, all through life, whether he was in it or not, there was this resentment of these struggles that I'm dealing with because of problems that you never confronted.
Right.
And in healing and dealing with that, and even my mom's passing, getting released from being her protector, which meant that I know I had to defend her and defend her honor from this man or anyone else. So it was a lot. It was a reshaping who I was. I've always been my mom's protector. I've always, I came into, as long as I could remember, I was that man for her. Absolutely. So it was a lot. It was a lot, and that's where a lot of the songs came from, like Whole Space.
Yeah.
But that's why I love it, because I feel the healing taking place, through it. Like, we're not just staying there, like we going through it.
And I don't think people, know the severity of, what you was portraying in that song, right? Of, where you're in a space of trying to break these curses, and you got, that demon on your back, you know, whispering in your ear, you ain't never gonna be this, you ain't never gonna be that, you gonna be the same as, you know what I mean, as your father or this person, you going, you know what I mean, in those trying times, you know, to exhibit that even I go through these times. You know, it's powerful, and I think people need to see that now, because so much you just see people living a perfect life, you know,
or trying to act like they do,
or trying to act like it. And I think that's important to show, because a lot of times it, you know, it creates this false narrative that, again, you know, everything's all love and light, when there's only, the only way to through this journey is to experience both aspects of life. And there's a polarity to everything. There's a dark and light side to everything, and there's no way to get to light without going through the dark, and embracing it and appreciating it and valuing it also, you know. So I just think that that's extremely powerful to understand. So with that being said, like how do you transmute that type of energy, or those thoughts that come to mind from time to time? Or have you kind of gotten to a place to where they don't necessarily have too much power over you, and you're kind of able to like quickly overcome them?
I think it's I don't think we ever get to a place where these things don't have an opportunity. And you know what I mean? Like I'm intentional. That's what I can say. I'm extremely intentional to pull the weeds out of my garden, shall I say? You know, like but absolutely. But things definitely get an opportunity to grow, and if you don't have a level of self-awareness, they'll get the opportunity to start choking out other things in your garden that have nutrition. So I think, to answer your question, it's just a level of self-awareness. I think my children always say I'm so wise, and I say that's because I always think I don't know anything. And I'm always looking to learn and to connect to something deeper and something greater and something higher. I'm always humble enough to know that it took a lot of violence for me to become this peaceful. And, you know what I mean? And
that helps you connect with those who have gone down that path, you know, who've been there, who've done that, you know. And I always say everyone has a part to play here. Some people are born in the gutter and this, down the third. Some people are born in the suburbs. But everyone has a certain experience or a particular experience, because those are the people that you're going to end up connecting with later on, and helping out of those times that you were able to overcome and kind of go through, or like get through, you know.
So I have structures and strategies that, you know, I teach people all the time in my mentorship programs of how to live successfully. And, you know, and successful living to me isn't based off of your money or anything. It's you living a life that reflects what you wanted to feel and how you wanted to experience it. And most of us don't know how to live successfully. We know what we want to feel. We know what we want to accomplish. We know what we want to experience, but we don't know how to get out of our own way so we can do that. And so I stick to the script. Like, I practice what I preach, and I'm always setting myself up to be empowered and be at a high vibration. You know, I wake up and I pour into myself. But I give myself to myself before I get to anything else. 9 times out of 10. You know, so I'm doing the things that allow me to win the morning, so I can win the day. I'm setting myself up as a domino effect of just experiences that I want to happen.
That's a good time, you know, because those are the times when your mind is most easily programmable, if that's a word. You know, the moment that you wake up and the time that you go to sleep, those are the best times to, you know, set your intentions, because then it starts reprogramming your subconscious mind, which is the hardest part of the journey. You know,
and everybody can speak, but everybody can't teach, right? So with that being said, right, I just want to ask you, like, throughout your mentorship, like, what's some of, you know, the accomplishments that your mentees have made, and, you know, what were some challenges that you had to deal with, you know, with some of your mentees coming up? Because, you know, you have those ones that like overachievers, right? And then you got some like, I don't know if this for you. So I just want you to speak on that a little bit.
I've experienced, first of all, shout out to my sister, Siobhan. I just seen her comment.
Peace to the sister. Peace to the sister. Thank you for joining.
So challenges. The biggest challenge comes when people aren't willing to engage at a level of self-awareness that allows them to see the changes that they need to make in their lives.
Yeah.
And I even came to this mentorship program to the where I'm now interviewing people. Like, you just can't buy your way into my program, because you can't buy your way into my presence like that.
Gotta
So
get
I
vetted.
have, so I'm vetting people,
Right.
and picking the people that are in alignment, because I did this in a small community setting for 3 years, and where anyone that could afford it could just sign up. And I have about 100 people each year, and then out of those 100 people, there's only 20 to 25 people who are really there to get this information, apply it, and showing back up with the desired results. And I'm a result-driven individual. And I looked around and seen how the rest of the people that are all in the comments saying, man, I love it here, and this feels like church. They're just like those other church people that I used to be familiar with that was showing up on Sunday to have an experience.
Full circle.
And I'm not going to, you can't pay me. I feel like how T.I. do right now. You can't pay me to get on stage and do something just because that's what you wanted. I'll perform when I want to perform, but I'm not going to be obligated to do it for you. And I felt like I was prostituting my energy and prostituting my frequency. And I was like, no, we're not going to do this. I'm not going to be here just to show up to give you the feeling. So now, going through what I'm going through with the mentorship, I'm vetting people and got people that really be in alignment with it. So I haven't been experiencing too many problems in the mentorship this year. But I will say, 3 years ago, when I started Manifest University, the biggest challenge, if I'm being completely honest with you, the biggest challenge was not sleeping with all these women. The biggest challenge was having this platform and having all of these eyes that are on you and that you're pouring into, and that feel a connection with you, and that many of them have never felt with a man before, and they like you a little bit. And so it was learning. Learning the discipline that goes along with having it, because I understand it's not about what you have, it's what you can keep. And what I'm doing right now is what I want to keep. So it required a different level of me, and I had to sit back and say, okay, what does that greater version of me do in this situation? And I had to imitate him until it all sunk in, and move past that, because that was the biggest challenge.
I like that,
because you're loving them from a different frequency, and they're taking it as something else because they haven't felt that before.
Like, I never felt that before.
That unknown energy is intriguing to them, right? And that's powerful that you say that, because a lot of people will fall victim to that lust, right? And they'll kind of fall off or end up in some shit they don't want to be in. You know what I mean? So it's powerful that you just said that, because you see so many come and go. You know what I mean? That same way.
You could get into a lot of rooms, but your integrity is going to determine how long you can stay there. You know what I mean? And like I said, I've been blessed to be in a lot of rooms, and I went through seasons where I was removed from them because I didn't have the integrity to keep me in those spaces. So this is just my evolution and getting to a place where I'm saying what I'm doing right now is so valuable that I wouldn't dare allow my flesh or my desires, simple desires, meaningless, temporary desires, to permit me to mess that up, or to put dirt on something that's really pure right now. And so that was a challenge. It was like, yo, you gotta rise to this occasion. You gotta become this type of man.
And I love that you said that you had to basically act it out until you fully tapped into that energy, because a lot of the times on this journey or in this safari, it's like it makes it hard when you feel like you can't obtain this version of self because it's so far away and but the key to it is acting as if it's already there. Like you can have it any time, but our mind is like, our ego is like, well, you haven't had this yet, you haven't that, whatever. But you really have to embody, you really have to believe that it's there before it manifests. And I think that on my journey, like I used to smoke cigarettes and the whole nine, and I was out there doing a whole bunch of crazy stuff. But when it was time, after I had my stroke and I had to change my lifestyle, I had to look myself in the mirror every day and said, while I was smoking cigarettes, still I'm like, oh, you don't smoke anymore. I would imagine people passing me a cigarette. I'm like, no, I don't do that anymore. Like, no, I don't, you know?
Yeah.
And so I got to the point to where I no longer had the craving for it. I didn't have the craving for the processed food. I didn't have the craving for a certain lifestyle that I was in at that time. So I think that's a huge thing that we have to understand, is that you have to create it here first before you obtain anything else outside of that, because it never happens outside of you. And matter of fact, that brings me to Bashar. Do you guys know who Bashar is?
Yeah.
Right. And
I believe I do. Yeah.
Okay. So he basically was talking about how you know, if you're looking in the mirror, waiting for it, like you go in the mirror and you're frowning, and you look at the mirror and the mirror's frowning back at you, and you're standing there and you're waiting for the mirror to smile again, you'll be waiting forever, because it doesn't start with what's outside of you. It starts here first.
Absolutely.
Facts.
Absolutely. And what you said about even your evolution is you using your mind as your employee. You know, and that's what it's meant to be. It's just that most people have their mind as their master, and instead of their employee. So
it's a tool.
It's supposed to be something that you're using, not something that's controlling you. And we have so much of our emotions controlling our lives, so much of our traumas controlling our lives. You know, is so many people are just removed from the power that's within them. And,
Guys, like a little baby, like, no, you know, you're throwing a fit right now, we'll kind of talk it out. you know, but it's not there to be used like it's not the household runner, you know, it shouldn't run the household, you know,
at all. It shouldn't. I tell people all the time, like, even your emotions are visitors. Your emotions, they don't live here. Like, you wouldn't let somebody that's just walking past your house come in your house and start running your house.
Yeah, exactly.
But why you let these emotions that are just walking by come in and start running your day and running your life, and now you doing this because of this emotion. Now you got this problem because you was doing this, because it's like your emotions are indicators. They are not to be in the driver's seat of your life.
Exactly.
People be having all them parasites in them. They don't fast. They don't. You know what I mean? Or anything like that. You know what I mean? I just did like a little intermittent fast. I didn't eat like all day yesterday. Ate a little something today, a little fruit. Now I'm just drinking some tea. But what I recognize is that, you know, without all of that pressure on your digestive system, your cells can talk to each other. Your body move different. That's helping the mind. You know what I mean? Like, you know, get its regular settings back. You know what I mean? Because your mind not constantly thinking about digesting something, or the parasites ain't eating away at you and things of that nature. So that's powerful right there. You know what I'm saying? But on a different note though, Brian, I do want to talk about your traveling, man. Like, how was Morocco? Because I seen you on Instagram living your best life, bro. In Morocco on the camels, like, you know, with the pyramids in the desert, like, how was that experience, and has it shifted anything in your perception being coming back to the States?
Leaving the pyramids after touring, I toured 14 pyramids and I went inside 4 of them. I left there saying, man, we were so intelligent. We used to be so intelligent. And then I was having a conversation with one of my close partners, and I'm showing him pictures and stuff like that. And I'm telling him about the different things that I learned. And he's like, it don't sound like it's the intelligence, the level of intelligence. It sounds like it was the level of intention. It was the level of intention that our people used to operate with that created these different things that is so far beyond where we at right now as a civilization. And so I came back saying, man, I would love to see what our people would be like if we just operated with a higher level of intention and what we're creating, what we're doing with our lives, how we're using ourselves, our energy. That was the biggest takeaway from the pyramids. And so, but from Egypt, I mean, from Morocco, it was love. It was like coming home. Right. You know, very emotional. The people treated you like a family that just came home from the feds, like, you know, or came home from the war. Everyone was like, you know, good to see you, like, you know, right. Like
Yeah.
whatever, like what you need. They like, you know, where you are you know that you home, right?
Right.
Like it's
Yeah.
just so
Oh,
much love. And it's still it's an Arabian country, it's owned by the Arabs. But because of the ancestry there, the people are still very much united with the Moorish customs and the understanding of who we are and what we are, where we came from. And it was a big difference between like Morocco, for instance, and Cairo, Egypt. The social temperature was much different. It wasn't welcoming,
Wow.
at all. The way that there was just love waiting for you in Morocco. You walk into a store in Morocco, they offering you tea and cookies and cakes.
Right.
And I walked into places to buy stuff and just left with stuff for free just because it's like, here, just take this.
Right.
It was a vibe. It was definitely a good time. I stayed in the Sahara Desert for 2 nights in the Sahara Desert. So that was dope. And that's really what I went there for, just to get lost.
Right.
Get lost and find myself, find something about myself once I got lost. So like I went out there and just in the middle of the night left my camp and just started walking. I'm walking like these huge sand dunes, just under the stars, like using the stars to navigate.
Right.
And just got lost in the desert. And until my daughter called me, until my oldest called me, and I pick up the phone and I show her where I'm at, and she was like, "You told me you was gonna be with people at all times. You told me you was going to be safe. You're not being safe right now." Like, she's like, there's scorpions out there, there's vipers. She's going down the list,
right?
And this is. And she talked me out of my little party that I was having. She had me turn on my phone to make sure there weren't no vipers or scorpions around me.
Oh, that's funny.
I'm glad I had my time, but
right.
But it's time to go home. But it was beautiful, man. I needed to get lost. I needed to leave the part of me behind at that moment that has just felt orphaned.
Yeah.
And so I think for me, it was getting in truly into the middle of nowhere and feeling the way that I feel no matter where I'm at. Like, just without a home, without, a motherless child, type of feeling. So I wanted to, it's like, I'd rather be I feel like I'm in the middle of a desert. I might as well just go into the middle of the desert.
Right.
Yeah.
And so I got there and I just sat there until a piece of me found peace and found wholeness and attached to the acceptance that it needed to, and rejected and dismissed whatever it needed to. And it was a healing experience for me.
That's dope. And man, listen, like you said, get lost to find yourself, man. You gotta drop a song or something, man. Every time you say that, bro, it just keep repeating in my head, like something about those words you said, bro. I just keep on repeating in my head. Get lost to find yourself. That's deep right there. You know what I mean?
Be on the t-shirt, don't it?
Man, what? I was just thinking about that. Hold up.
Yeah, come on now. Let's put something together.
You know what I mean? For sure. I'm definitely with that.
Yeah, I think that's pretty much a part of the journey. We all grow up in one program or another. And when we start to awaken and go towards who we are, truly, on a soul level, you kind of got to lose yourself. That version of self that you thought was you, you know? So it's scary from like in the beginning, but once you tap into it, like you said before, it's just like you have that peace beyond understanding, and it's just is, and there's nothing you can. It's just like you just bask in it,
Right. And I want to get into some of the books, right? Because this is a big topic that the conscious community, and not only the conscious community, I mean anybody that you see, that's on social platforms and things like that, right? Which is manifesting, right? And my first question when it comes to your books, what made you want to start, writing books, but writing about manifesting books, right? And not only that, were you at a place in your life where you were at a space where you were comfortable enough, if I should say, like, because so many people speak on manifesting, but you don't see it reflect in their lives, right? So that's what I'm kind of hinting at, right? What space were you in when you were writing these books, and you know what made you want to start writing books about, you know, just manifesting and bringing things down to the 3D?
I think I was just following the divine order, bro.
Yeah.
Like I had a journal full of notes that I was taking, and I knew I was going to be writing a book, and I knew I was going to be writing this book to my daughters, to 2 children, or they're adults now, but someone else's children who I raised,
Right.
And my younger brother. And I wanted to leave them a blueprint on how to find their divine self. Since I had just gone through what I had gone through and have found my divine self, I wanted to give them something. So going back to that idea that I may not live long, right? So I'm trying to prepare them. I'm trying to give them these things. And so it was 2019 at the time. I had a food truck, an event lounge, and a home renovation company in Tampa, Florida. My daughter's
the hustler.
Yeah, bro. We always been getting it. Always been
Yes, sir.
And my daughters were 3 and 5. I had my 3-year-old sitting on my shoulders most of the time. My 5-year-old holding my hand most of the time. My mother was in the last season of her life, and I was a caretaker. So all those things happening at the same time. And my spirit is saying, hey, you need to sit down and write that book. You need to take all that stuff out of that notebook and you need to put it in a book. And I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna do it. And I'm getting to it. I'm building these businesses. I'm taking care of my mom. You know what I mean? Her health is deteriorating. She needs more medication. Now her medication costs $1,200 a month.
Right.
I never knew I could find an extra $1,200 a month until we had to find an extra $1,200 a month. You know what I mean? And I start and so this is we manifesting things. We have no other option other than to believe what we're going to be able to do. You know what I mean? And when I say we, I mean me, my sister and I, like looking at these medical bills, looking at these different things, looking at operations and treatment possibilities that cost 60, 70 grand. Like we got to manifest some things, and it's clearly not coming from no one but whatever our divine ability is, you know, able to do. But I'm still not writing this book. I'm just writing my notes, and I'm going through life, and all year that voice within me, my divine spirit is telling me, yo, stop what you're doing and go write this book. And by November, it was yelling at me. It wouldn't let me sleep. And I'm like, you don't see what's going on? I got this going on. I got this. We got the food truck. We got this. And it's like, you're going in the wrong direction if you don't go write this book. And so by November, I stopped what I was doing. I went to the mountains in Colorado. And I sat down and for 2 weeks and I wrote this book. And so that was November 2019. I released it on my birthday the next year, January, 2 months later, January 2020. COVID hits the next month.
Right.
Food truck, stop. Event lounge, stop. Home renovation company, screeching halt. But intellectual property was skyrocketing around that time. We were all sitting down. We were all buying books.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it went from this book to a course to I created a Telegram group for the people who had purchased my course in case they wanted to ask me questions. And then that Telegram group was filled with a bunch of women. And some women here now. Shout out to Manifest University. I love y'all to life.
Shout out to y'all.
Shout out to the people who really affirmed the greatness and the direction that was going on, because they turned this Telegram group. They did what women do. They turned this Telegram group into a home, into a place that I was like, yo, who put up these drapes? Like, it was a vibe. And then that turned into a subscription service, and then it's just steamrolled into from one opportunity of greatness into the other, and it became real apparent that everybody needed to hear this information. And that the things that were common to me weren't really common to someone else's consciousness.
Right.
And that we were all in this space of how can I get out of my mind and really tap into my soul, and how can I unlearn these things? I don't even know what I need to unlearn. I just know they're not working for me. And it just wound up being, you know, the blueprint that I was writing for my children and for my younger brother. You know, it came across as a family member that cared for you. And so it touched people's soul. Now that book is in 154 countries. And from that book, I got the name, The Manifest Mentor. And so that began the brand. Manifest University gave me that name. And so everything from there has just been how to teach people at different ages and different walks of life how to manifest the reality that they desire, the life and legacy that they desire. But more importantly, how to heal, how to break the generational curses, how to move past your traumas, and how to be whatever your greater existence is.
Absolutely. And I felt that, right? Because as you were speaking, I was sitting here thinking like, that's how you know if you know you're dealing with somebody that really knows about manifesting, because they don't see, you know, things as problems. You know what I mean? They're solution based, and the way you just articulated that story shows that you're solution based, right? You didn't say, oh, I'm gonna let this affect me, so now I'm just gonna fall into anxiety or depression and let everything go by the wayside. No, you know what? I see the curve. You know what I mean? I see the wave. Let me go ahead and shift my direction, because spirit must be pushing me this way, right? If it's forcing everything around me to, you know, go this way, it must be pushing me this way. So to see that, right, and to, you know, take full advantage of that opportunity is powerful. So, you know, what's your 2 best-selling books for anybody that want to know? I mean, I want to know because I'm a copper.
For sure. That BrianHyppolite.com. What I do want to say is I don't want to present that I had this poise, that I knew what was going on.
Right.
Like I'm really just following the compass of my soul.
Right.
And I have to reiterate that, because if you listen to the story that I just told you, like this is my Noah's Ark story.
Right.
And this saved me from a flood that would have, like, if my income didn't switch the way that it would, it would have sent me and my family into just a horrible tailspin. But most importantly, bro, again, my mom was in the last season of her life. I don't think I'd be all right if I couldn't say I was able to give everything that I was able to do within my power to give her as long as she could have it, and as comfortable as she could have it. If we couldn't do all this bucket list stuff, like I honestly don't think I'd be okay. Right. So I think, you know, my divine spirit was not only creating this situation for everyone else to benefit from, but it was protecting me from you know, an emotional, mental, spiritual meltdown. Right. And you know, and so it was going to be one or the other. It was going to be a curse coming from this or a blessing coming from this. And you know, so but here we are on the side of some blessings.
Right. Yeah, I think another thing is that when we're talking about manifesting, a lot of the time you don't see it. You don't know how it's going to happen. You don't know where it's going to come from. You don't know how it's going to manifest. Yeah. You just know that you have to meet the universe halfway, and that is going to get taken care of. You have no choice but to believe that it's going to get taken care of in those types of situations. You know what I'm saying? But the biggest thing is it's you trusting and stepping into the unknown. Because a lot of times people are afraid of the unknown, and they don't take the opportunity or any opportunities because they're too afraid to take the first step. They're like, well, what if it doesn't work?
And they're too tied to their ego of wanting to know the why. Like you don't need to know. You
don't need to know the why. Just
you don't need to know the why at all. Like just believe that it's going to happen. Just and walk it out as if it's already taken place. Right. You know.
Sight, you know, that's a real thing. You know, spiritually, you know, we get too comfortable with, or we're comfortable with what we can see and what we know. And if we don't know it, and we don't know how the outcome is going to turn out, we don't know the end result, we get frightened, we get scared, and we end up going into, like, we look like a deer in headlights. We're like,
right,
you know, and then we end up manifesting the very thing that we don't want. So when it comes to manifesting, you have to be in that mentality that you are in. It's like, we have to get it. there's no
Because
way
the
that
law of attraction is going to either work for you or it's going to work against you. And the law of attraction is not bringing you what you want, it's bringing you what you offer. And you can't have anything outside of the vibration that you hold. So if you aren't holding that vibration, and when I say holding that vibration, I mean, like, if we were to think about something negative right now long enough, we can hold that, we can feel that, we can hold that vibration. And on the other end, we can think of something positive right now. We can all close our eyes and think of something that we love right now. We can do it till a smile comes on our face. We can feel that. But if we can hold that vibration, if you can even think of the life that you want, and hold on to that vibration, and no matter what life and your environment brings you, you hold on to that vibration, you're going to be pulling that to you.
Right.
The vibration that you're letting off is saying, this is what I am, and you're going to attract more of that to you.
And I always say, like, the universe is the yes man. You know, whatever you believe, whatever you choose to, like, whatever you want, or like whatever you want to choose to, like, speak over yourself, it's going to give it to you. If you want to choose to speak consistently, be on in the energy of negativity, loss, hopelessness, it's going to give you more of that. Like, okay,
absolutely.
Apparently, because you keep thinking about it.
Yeah, like, that must be what you like, because we're more vibration than we are anything else. You know, we're mind, body, soul, and energy, and we don't really pay attention to our soul and to our energy until something's wrong, until that check engine light come on.
That's
and then now we want to pay attention to it. Yeah, and that's why we suffer the way that we do.
Yeah,
you know, because we pay attention to all these other things that really aren't important when it comes to that.
Right.
Like, if people just kind of paid attention enough to themselves when they're in a good space, when they're receiving good things and things are just flowing from what energy are you in? What have you been thinking about? How are you feeling? And then you, like you said, you hold that. You know what I'm saying? There's nothing wrong with taking, like, you know, because a lot of times we say, like, oh, well, don't just be thankful when things are good. Be thankful when things are bad too. But you could also use those moments that you're doing well, and you can hold on to those moments even through the season of your negative whatever, and eventually you'll be able to get through it, type thing, you know, because I think that a lot of the times, you know, for one, the universe is going to test you, type thing, you know, like, you can go through your space of being in a really good, being pretty much aligned, and things will be kind of get thrown at you. Now you can choose to stay on that frequency regardless of what it is that you're envisioning or seeing or experiencing in that space, or you can kind of get lost in the wave and get, you know.
Right.
That's a fact.
You know, you have a choice in those moments to hold that frequency, like you said, and things will still turn out in your favor a lot of the time.
That's a fact. I got another question for you, right, Brian? Because you know what I mean. Now that I'm sitting here face to face after listening to your music, man, because I really love your music for real, like, no bullshit, right? So seeing you face to face is actually, you know what I mean, like, you know, you are exactly who you say you are, right? But I also read energy, so I see you in a lot of different spaces too, like, not just on a politically correct, like, I can really see you, like, chills, right, and having these different personalities. But I want to talk about your Haitian roots, right? Do you practice in any of those spiritual practices, as far as, like, offerings, you know what I mean, and different rituals to pull in abundance and things of that nature? You know, because I never really seen you speak on it much, so that was a question I had to ask.
Yeah. I don't. I just and only because I just haven't been educated in that space. It's such a powerful space, you know, that I acknowledge. I just haven't been educated in it. I just be working on my own rituals.
Facts.
You know, of what brings it to me, and what keeps me feeling the way that I need to feel, vibrating the way that I need to vibrate. But I have my Haitian heritage, man. It's a beautiful thing. My very first time going to Haiti, I was there for within hours, and the first place we went to was a orphanage, and this kid seen my lanyard, and he said, "Hyppolite," and I was like, "No, it's Hyppolite," and he's like, "No, it's not. It's Hyppolite." And I tried to correct him again, and he stopped me, like, with an attitude, and was like, "Don't let those Americans tell you how to say your name. It's Hyppolite. And you're from the royal family. Do you know that?"
Oh, wow.
And which my great great grandfather. His name was Floril Hyppolite, and he was the 15th president of Haiti. Before that, he was a director of agriculture. He went around the country showing people how to live off the land. He's the man that's on the money. That's my kin.
What? That's what's up.
And so to have this royal heritage that America, you know, I grew up hearing about Haiti with like the images of children with flies stuck to their face. Like I never seen all the beautiful things that we had, or the powerful legacy that we have, or even how, I mean, so many cultures have been impacted because of the Haitian heritage. Like I got there and I had learned it for myself and knew that I had a responsibility to my people. So, you know, that's where me and my heritage is, you know, there's definitely more I want to do there. I've been there. I've helped build some orphanages and different things like that. Before I knew tilapia wasn't a good fish, we put in a tilapia fish farm. I was like, then I found out later, I was like, damn. But I put in it was with an organization at the time. I put in a fresh water well, and went back a year later and seen grass growing in the area that nobody alive has seen, vegetation growing in. So done a few little small things, but definitely I think is raising the vibration and creating things that's going to be able to empower and inspire other Haitians to just be walking in their greatness.
That's a fact. So it was already in your contract to be a protector, you know, and not only that, a warrior, because think about how many times they tried to come against Haiti and could never accomplish it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So you know, that's amazing when you actually can backtrack your bloodline, you know what I mean, and have that feeling like, oh, I really came from a bloodline of royalty. So how big is that, you know, not just for yourself, but people that's watching to, you know, make sure that they find their ancestry to really find who they are.
It's extremely important, but even if you can't find your ancestry, it's within you.
Right.
It's written within you, and sometimes that's all you need. I think a lot of times we be looking, we love to be in deficit. We we like to believe that we are uniquely defective. Right. And so I know some people who, because they can't connect with some sense of ancestry, they say, well, I don't know who I am and what I am, but you don't need that information. Right. Like it's inside you. And if you follow the compass of your soul, you're going to go from where your ego and everywhere else is trying to take you, and you're going to get to a divine place. And everything that you're going to need to know, you're going to be revealed to you.
Just like you going to Haiti and then, you know, just so happen to notice, you know, you're not the same on your thing. That's divine guidance. That's a divinely aligned, you know, reminding you of who you are, or just, you know, confirming who you are. Yeah. You know, so it's like there's never, you know, again, just the comparisons they're not needed, because your journey is going to be unique to you, and that's your superpower, because one day you might tell your story and it's not going to be like anyone else's. So you have to embrace your journey and love the way that it is, you know, the good and the bad, because all of those things are going to create a ripple effect for those who have gone through similar things that you went through, and you can now tell your story and share your story to those who need it.
That's bad. So, you know, I want to know, what can we expect out of you, Brian, for 2025? You know, coming into the end of this year, you know, what processes are you utilizing to gear up for, you know, the next year? I'm going to quote unquote that, because, you know, some people believe the New Year's. You know what I mean? I'm going to be politically correct and just quote it real quick.
Well, I'll definitely, in the awareness of the new year starting in spring. Right. But as we're going through this season, I'm currently doing a 90-day challenge with my community with Manifest University, where we'll be ending. We started in October, so we'll be the last 90 days of 2024, just building ourselves up to be the greatest version of ourselves in 2025. What you can expect from me is 2 books. I'll be releasing another two books in 2025. Working on them both right now. One is 111 Keys to Spiritual Alchemy, and the other one is 111 ways to heal from a breakup. To healthy ways to heal and move forward from different connections that we've had. So you can expect that the Tropical Depression album, which is currently only available on brianhyppolite.com, at some point next year will reach streaming services. But on January 11th, on my birthday, I will be releasing a deluxe version of the Tropical Depression, and all those who have already purchased it will get a free copy of the deluxe version when that becomes available. But that will still be exclusively at brianhyppolite.com, and you can pick your price and go get that, whatever it's worth to you.
For sure. And you never answered my question either. The best two books out of all 8 of them, best 2 books. I got my little notepad right here. I got
best 2 books. I'm gonna go with Manifesting You, for sure. Manifesting You, 111 Keys to Unlocking Your Divinity, and then I think my next favorite one is the sequel to that, which is the Greater Existence, 111 Keys of Walking in Your Infinity. Those are my 2 favorite ones. Those are the ones I teach out of, and I can just walk up to anyone and say, hey, just pick a number between 1 and 111 and pick your favorite number and just open up that book and go to it, and I guarantee you it's what you needed to hear right now, and it never fails. It never fails. So
one as well.
What's that?
I said I'm gonna have to call myself one as well.
For sure. So I appreciate you.
I will be looking out for that for sure. I love anything that's talking about alchemy, for sure. So I'll be looking out for that in 2025.
Yeah, it's going to be good. It's going to be something that's going to show a lot of people how to turn their pain into power, their wounds into wisdom. Turn these stumbling blocks into stepping stones, so that we can move the way that we need to.
That's facts. Well, I'm looking forward to it. I know everybody that's watching looking forward to it, man. I just thank you, you know what I mean, for gracing us with some of your time, you know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, that's what this all about. Like, what are you paying attention to, right? And it's good to be around like minds that's in a space of, like I said earlier, not following trends. Everybody out here doing what they do with the fight, this, that, and the third. You know what I mean? I'm tuning in with people that's on a higher level of frequency, and for people that really want to, like, not only myself, want to learn, but also help educate, you know what I mean, throughout this journey. I kind of feel like I'm in that space now of my hero's journey. You know what I mean? That's what we'll be talking about tomorrow. I'm actually going to be interviewing Kai. I'm going to be interviewing my co-host, because she took a little social media break. So I just want to talk about the hero's journey, kind of stepping away from these social media websites to really go deep within and find who you are. Don't end up doom scrolling all day. You know what I mean? And really speak on, how to navigate yourself once you are chosen. You feel what I'm saying? So that's what we'll be talking about tomorrow. I'm definitely going to tap in with you, Brian. We thank you for coming on, brother.
Absolutely. I thought of real quick, another thing you can expect from me in 2025 is a high vibration radio station. And so that would be that platform that I was telling you that we need, is something that I'm in the process of building right now. So every high vibration artist, get in contact with me, because I want your music. I want to put it on the radio station. We're creating a platform so that people can connect with these artists.
Man, you're going to make me start writing again, man.
Listen, that's what it's about.
In a couple weeks.
That's what it's about. My homie's been listening to the Tropical Depression and was like, yo, you making me want to go write again. You made me want to get things off my chest. So that's what it is, man. Thank you for this opportunity. I appreciate each and every one of you. Appreciate everyone that's watching the live, everyone that's watching the recordings. I just want to remind you that your purpose and your power are greater than your problems. So don't let anything stand in your way, not even the current version of yourself. There is such a great idea in the eyes of God that is the reason why you are here in this intersection of time and space. And I want you to maximize every single moment of it. Don't be a victim. Don't allow yourself to be a victim to your traumas, your tragedies, your past, your burdens, your any of that. You're greater than all that. And I look forward to seeing you execute it in whatever amazing way you're supposed to.
Like you said, man, you're going to be a slave until you master self. You
Until
feel
you
what I'm
master
saying?
self, homie, you hear me?
But before you go, man, plug in all your socials. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
because
absolutely.
You got our audience watching.
I do have some of them already in the description. We'll go ahead and get your book in there so you guys can purchase. Be on the lookout. I'm on Instagram, Facebook. Are you on TikTok?
I'm on TikTok. I'm on Threads.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm everywhere. It's Brian Hyppolite everywhere. You just
Okay,
look for Brian Hyppolite.
TikTok. I'll put it in the description. I just wanted to double check. But you guys, thank you guys so much for tapping in. Thank you,
Peace
Brian.
and love. Appreciate y'all.
And we'll see y'all later. Peace out.
What I'm saying is you can't rush my greatness. I've been elevating daily on a mission for my people. All the love I've been receiving, got me oh so dedicated.